Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the 9 p.m. live English news edition. Here are the top stories. Closing ceremony of the final joint review of the Education Action Plan for the period 2017-2020. And for the international news, European Parliament adopts carbon neutrality. Hello, welcome to our newsroom for having the news in details. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, received yesterday, Thursday, in the run-up to the celebration of our National Independence Day, a message of congratulations from his Chinese counterpart, Mr. Xi Jinping, on the occasion of the 40th anniversary of the independence of the Republic of Djibouti. I would like to send on behalf of the government and the Chinese people, and on my own behalf, my sincere congratulations and best wish to you and through you to the government and to the friendly people of Djibouti, wrote the Chinese president in the telegram he sent to the head of state. China and Djibouti are good friends and good brothers. He continued and noted that the two countries have in recent years seen their mutual strategic trust deepen every day more, and their concrete cooperation continue to progress in all areas. On issues affecting vital interest and major concerns of both sides, the two sides have lent each other firm support, he said. Through the joint fight against the epidemic of COVID-19, the bonds of friendship between the Chinese and Djiboutian peoples have been further strengthened, he said. I attach great importance to the development of Sino-Djiboutian relations and intend to work with you to constantly enrich the content of the Sino-Djiboutian strategic partnership for the greater benefit of our two countries and our two peoples. The Chinese president also said, reiterating his wish for prosperity to the Republic of Djibouti and happiness to its people. National news. Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training, Mr. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud, sponsored today the closing ceremony of the final joint review of the Education Action Plan for the period 2019 and 2020. The UNICEF Resident Representative in Djibouti, Mrs. Melva Johnson, the Counselor for Cooperation and Cultural Action of the French Embassy in Djibouti, Stephen Gallet, officials from the World Bank, the Education Development Center, JICA, and other LPE partners took part in this meeting. The meeting also saw the participation of several heads of agencies. As a reminder, since last Monday, about 100 executives and managers from Manfop and Development Partners Agency, as well as civil society figures, had carried out an in-depth work to take stock of the progress made, measure achievements, analysis difficulties, and make recommendations by considering the future horizon of the Djiboutian education system. The senior Manfop officials presented the results of the evaluation carried out on each of the annual work plans for the different levels of education and the recommendation made to meet the targeted objectives in accordance with the indicators and parameters chosen for the evaluations. The Ministry of National Education and Vocational Training expressed his enthusiasm because on the one hand, the overall objective of the EAP have been achieved, and on the other hand, the implementation of the EAP has benefited from an increase in funding since the financial GAP, which was 14% at the concession, has increased to 6% at the end. This shows that the government and the partners have kept their commitment and even exceeded them. The Ministry nevertheless asked to redouble efforts because there is still a lot to do in order to achieve the quest for education and training in the line with the needs of the country, and aspiration of our learners is perpetual and requires innovation, creativity, and boldness. Mrs. Mustafa Mohammed Mahmoud did not fail to thank the valuable support of all partners, including UNICEF, the World Education Programme, the World Bank, the French Embassy, and USAID, which have ensured the continuity of education during the period of confinement due to pandemic COVID-19. He finally announced the master plan for the period 2021-2035 will be the guide and strategic document for the transformation of the education system and the development of human capital. He concluded by reaffirming his confidence in the ability to meet the challenges with the continued commitment of the government and technical and financial partners. The Ministry of Defense, in charge of relation with the Parliament, His Excellency Mr. Hassan Omar Mohammed, decorated this Thursday, June 24th, 2021, at 11 a.m. the badges of the Medal for the officer in the National Order of June 27th, the Colonel Frederic Dantin, Attaché of Internal Security of the Embassy of France in Djibouti, and the Medal of Life to Lieutenant Colonel Frederic Pasquier and Captain Bruno, respectively technical advisor to the Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie and the Studies and International School Director for the Practices of Judicial Police. On the proposal of Colonel Zakaria Hassan Aden, Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie, this decoration ceremony took place in the Honor Lounge of the Ministry of Defense in the presence of His Excellency Arnaud Guillois, Ambassador of the French Republic in Djibouti, and Colonel Ibrahim Elmi, Deputy Chief of Staff of the National Gendarmerie. On the spot, the Ministry of Defense congratulated the recipient and thanked them for the excellent work that each of them has done during their assignment in Djibouti as part of development of the Djiboutian security forces by demonstrating an exemplary self-sacrifice and an exceptional commitment. After the decoration ceremony, the decorated official of the French Gendarmerie took part in a farewell ceremony organized by the National Gendarmerie in their honor at the Captain Hamadou Barracks. After the different speech, the decorated official shared the event with a large number of senior and junior officers of the Djiboutian Gendarmerie before receiving gifts from the hands of the Deputy Chief of Staff and posing for the traditional family photo. Now, the State Secretary in charge of investment in private sector development, Mrs. Safia Mohamed Ali, participated in a working meeting held at the Chamber of Commerce. The President of the Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Yusuf Musa Dewale, and his team welcomed the State Secretary in charge of investment in private sector development with great honor and respect, for which he thanked them warmly. Thereafter, the President of the Chamber briefly reminded the State Secretary the organization and functioning of the Chamber of Commerce of Djibouti. Moreover, this working meeting between the State Secretary in charge of investment in private sector development and the President of the Chamber of Commerce is part of a collaboration to improve the business climate while promoting the creation of businesses in our country. The State Secretary in charge of investment and development of the private sector made a point of specifying that the Chamber of Commerce is one of the pillar institutions that led by its fields and expertise, which will bring him an unfailing support to realize and reach the objectives which were fixed for his department. These objectives have been clarified by the guidelines and the head of state, Mr. Ismail Omar Gheli. The Ministry of Higher Education, now Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, presided yesterday morning at the conference room a ceremony of a publication of the lullaby entitled Heso Aruret of Dr. Faduma Mahmoud. The work of the Dr. Faduma Mahmoud is transcribed into local language in French. The objective is to teach the mother tongue in public schools in order to allow students more comprehensibility. In addition to the Minister of Higher Education, Dr. Nabil Mohamed Ahmed, the ceremony was attended by the Director General of the CRRD, Mr. Jaluddin Mohamed, and Mr. Mahdi, Director of Information Systems at the CRRD. The minister thanked Dr. Faduma Mahmoud for her tireless work that has enabled the publication of this work. And now the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development, His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Halem, received in his office, the Minister Mr. Mohammed Abdul Qadir Musa Halem received in his office Mr. Levent Sahin Kaya, Ambassador of Turkey to Djibouti. The meeting was attended by Mr. Dini Abdullah Omar, the General Secretary of the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development, and Mr. Aden Hassan Elmi, Technical Advisor to the Minister. The Turkish ambassador informed the minister about the activities that Turkey is carrying out in favor of the socio-economic development of Djibouti. He handed over to the minister the draft memorandum of understanding in the field of environment that the two parties will sign soon. The Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development thanked the ambassador of Turkey for his visit and welcomed the excellent relationship that exists between the Republic of Djibouti and Turkey. He recalled that several executives of the Ministry of Environment and Sustainable Development have already received training in Turkey. Finally, the Minister of Environment and Sustainable Development wished the strengthening of cooperation between Djibouti and Turkey in the field of environment and sustainable development. Another national news, the official launch of the first phase of the vaccination campaign against COVID-19 started yesterday morning at the Dr. Ahmed Absi Warsamed Regional Hospital in Asajog town. This campaign, led by the management of the regional hospital, saw the participation of the prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, the general director of the regional hospital of Ali Sabih, Mr. Mohammed Sugay Ainan, the president of the UNFD in Ali Sabih, Willy Ibrahim, several personalities and customary leaders intending to be vaccinated against COVID-19. The prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, and his wife, as well as the director of the Ali Sabih Regional Hospital, Mr. Mohammed Suga Ainan, were the first to be vaccinated against COVID-19 yesterday. The prefect of the region, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, explained that the purpose of this vaccination is to avoid the transmission of COVID-19 in the national territory and to resume a normal life as soon as possible. The ambassador of the Republic of Djibouti to the Republic of Sudan, His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Ali Barre, was received by His Excellency Mr. Abdullah Hamdok, the Transitional Prime Minister of the Republic of Sudan, on an official visit to bid farewell to him on the occasion of the end of his mission in Djibouti in Sudan. On this occasion, His Excellency the Ambassador conveyed the fraternal greetings of His Excellency Ismail Omar Guelleh, President of the Republic, to the Prime Minister and current Chairman of IGAD, and his wish to the brotherly Sudanese people for progress and prosperity. He then thanked his host for the warm welcome he received from the Sudanese government and people during his mission to Sudan, and expressed his satisfaction with the friendly and fraternal treatment he received from the Sudanese government, which one hand facilitated his mission enormously, and on the other hand allowed a positive development of bilateral relations between the two countries. The Dar el Hanan Maternity Hospital hosted an education and prevention workshop on healthy eating for pregnant women and those with conditions such as diabetes and anemia. Led by specialists in nutrition and 3 experienced midwives, this workshop aims to clarify the rules of dietary balance, to provide advice on nutrition during pregnancy, but also post-delivery for breastfeeding women and for the diversification of babies' diets. The challenge of raising awareness about nutrition is therefore major in the context of a risk-free pregnancy. Nutritional education allows these mothers to act in a healthy way for their health and their baby's health. Now, a closing ceremony of 3 weeks training held at INAP this morning. Different training topics organized at INAP from 6 to 24 June 2021 related to training in entrepreneurship, training in counseling and guidance, as well as the training in statistical system. Shared by the Director General of the ANFIP, Mahmoud Omar Guelleh, the General Manager of the INAP, Shamarka Idris Ali, the Director of Social Development of ADDS, and the Director of Training at INAP. ADDS has initiated this vast development project in these key areas of the country through the construction of the socio-economic and administrative infrastructure, capacity building for vulnerable people, and the promotion of income-generating projects. In this context, INAP is honored to participate in this project of ANAPIP, which aims to accompany and support the agent of the region within this public institution, especially through the realization of a privileged partnership with ANAFIP, a sister body under the same umbrella. Therefore, INAP is ready to provide ANAFIP with its expertise in training within the framework of this project co-financed by the ADB. After the bloody trip to Djibouti, the French president at the time, Charles de Gaulle, France launched a referendum process under the demands of the Djiboutian nationalists. Several political figures lead the battles, such as Mahmoud Harbi, Hassan Guled Abtidon, and Mohamed Kamil. But nothing will stop the repressive machine that is now installed in Djibouti. After the demonstration of independence against Charles de Gaulle, the supporters of colonialism are isolated, but it does not matter. It is the foreign legion that governs the country. For the referendum that will take place on March the 19th, 1967, the colonial administration will divide the Djiboutians in 2 camps: the partisans, those who say no to France, and those who voted yes. Those who voted no to France win the referendum, but the colonial administration handles the ballot, proclaiming yes. The day after the announcement of the result, the country Djibouti is on fire. Barricades are erected everywhere. The population rises to express his anger. It is the perfect opportunity, to kill. Moreover, on the range of the Foreign Legion, the sign "Shoot to kill, shoot to live" is clearly visible everywhere. The reign of terror begins in Djibouti, where the grim Tali camps are imprisoning everyone. Women and children die of thirst and hungry under a blazing sun. The country is empty of its population and entirely cordoned off by a sinister, electrified grid and truffle of mines. Inside the people, uprise continues without witness. The number of deaths will remain unknown, and it will be one of the most painful episodes of our history. The police of Obok, now national news, celebrated the 40th anniversary of the creation of national police in the compound of their detachment. The ceremony shared by the prefect of the region of Obok, Mr. Abdul Malik, the president of the regional council, Mr. Mohammed Hamid, and so the participation of the military several other personalities. Note that the commemoration ceremony began with the review of the troop and the salute of the flag by the prefect of Obok region, accompanied by the commander of Obok police detachment, Mr. Abdul Qadir Ali. The police of Al Sabih region celebrated today the 44th anniversary of the creation of national police in the compound of their detachment as Obok. The ceremony shared by the prefect of the region of Al Sabih, Mr. Musa Aden Migane, to bring together several members of the regional council of Al Sabih, including the vice president of the regional council, Mr. Noor Saeed Gildon, the General Director of the Regional Hospital, Dr. Ahmed Absi, Mr. Mohammed Suga Ainan, Colonel Chief of the Corps Army, Bayas, Abdul Wasi' bin Mohammed. Civilian personalities and customary leader attended the event. Note that the commemoration ceremony began with the review of the troop and the salute of the flag by the prefect of the region of Al Sabih, accompanied by Commander Mahdi Omar Jama, head of the police detachment of Al Sabih. Moving on to international news, the European Parliament sets in stone the objective of carbon neutrality by 2050. By a large majority, MEPs approved the climate law that aims to make the European Union the driving force and example in the fight against climate change. The European Union commits to reducing its carbon emission by 55% by 2030. In the conservative ranks, there is no such thing. They believe that citizens and governments will pay the price of this transformation. The climate law sets obligation and bans. This will not only lead to new taxes but will also increase the cost of everyday life, says Anna Zalewska. The climate law is a central element of the Green Pact. The European Commission should be able to present new proposal on July 14 to strengthen the European Union's climate ambition. This is it for this edition of 9 p.m. Thank you for watching us and have a wonderful evening.